Hello friends, it's Andrea and welcome back to my channel. I'm here today to finish up our creative design team week-long collaboration where we are celebrating our friend and team member Chelsey Boro Smarty. Chelsey has reached an incredible milestone of 10,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel. So each of us are going to or have already taken one of our favorite projects that Chelsey has created and we have scrap lifted it. So this is the layout that I have decided to scrap lift from Chelsey. Now this is a photo that I stole right from one of her videos, and she was speaking about creating balanced layouts in this video. Now this was not the actual project, but she did refer to this photo to show you a balanced layout, and I just fell in love, like head over heels in love. I just thought this was a great way to capture a whole bunch of pictures, and the layout was so well balanced. I just loved how your eyes moved across, and then there were some up and down elements that kind of drew your eye across the layout. I thought it was perfect. I love the little bits of sparkle. I know it's really hard to pick up here, but there are some things in this layout that I definitely wanted to mimic. Like I love these borders. I love the little sparkle that's really tucked in right here above the arrows. And she also used the birthday stamp in a traditional way. It's a thin cut and stamp set that was a birthday card kit. So I'm going to pull that in as well. I'm going to pull in a few of the elements that remind me of this layout. Let me show you the photos that I had in mind and the kit. So this is the kit that I did end up selecting. This was a March-April 2024 cut above kit. I hope that you were able to grab this while it was still available. And if not, you can definitely use some papers from your stash. I just used these because I liked a few of the elements in here, and you'll see why when I show you the photos. So this all is about a trip that I made into Disney World to get this pass holder magnet. Now, I have never ever been at Disney when they've given these out, and so I miss out year in, year out, time and time again. So I happened to be down in Disney at the time that they were giving these out, and I had just a few hours to pick it up. Well, that evolved because my daughters found out that I was going into the park to get this magnet, and then it just snowballed. They wanted these Starbucks mugs. So I ended up going to each of the 4 parks really quickly to pick up mugs for each of my 2 older girls. So needless to say, I did what they call the 4-park challenge. So what does that mean? It's where you go into each and every park in a matter of a day. And I did all of it, including transportation, in under 3 hours. So I was pretty impressed with myself. And I never do photo shoots, but you know what? I got the first set of mugs and I saw the photo pass guy, and I've got, you know, a photo pass that comes with my membership. So I just decided then I'm going to stop at each. So you see the first time I was like, I didn't put my fingers up and tell you how many parks, but this is park number 2, park number 3, and park number 4. So I loved these photos because they're bright and there's a lot of colors, and I thought they'd work really well with this layout. And so using this kit, I think we can rearrange it. I didn't like how messy this kit was. So using Chelsey's sketch or design here, I'm going to tidy it up and make it look something like this and use as many of the elements as I can. I'm going to show you each of these pages has 2 pre-printed bases. And then we have just a bunch of items here. I've got some photo mats. I've actually trimmed down the black ones just a little bit to be 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. We have some red, some candy apple red. We've got some probably honey butter. We've got some pretty blue elements and just a lot of colors that I think will go well in this layout. But I'm going to bring in just a few more and I'll show you how. So that's what we're going to use from the kit. And then this is what I'm planning on bringing in as well. So I'm just going to bring in this little tray. I have paper here that is, I would say, glacier colored. It is from this kit called Calypso. It is ages old. And I decided that I needed a few of these strips, so I cut them at 6 1/2 by 12. So I have 2 of these. That's taking a big piece out of my stash. I'm so happy with that. I literally just cut 2 photo mats, 2 more 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 photo mats. I have a piece of sticker strips here. They're 2 like really long border strips, and this actually came from the Evergreen scrapbooking workshop, so a winter workshop, but I thought that this might work well. I like the black kind of checker here. Then I've got some pieces here that are from the 4 Seasons summer kit. I have just a couple strips that were left over when I cut. And then I've got this piece of green that is from there as well. And I know it does not match the green that is in the kit, but you know what? It matches my photos, so we're going to go with it. So I'm just going to place that down. I also have cut 4 pieces of black glitter cardstock, and I cut those at 3/16 of an inch. It's just beyond an 1/8 of an inch, but before 1/4 of an inch. I just needed about that width. And then this is the stamp set and thin cuts that Chelsey used in her layout. She used the birthday part. I'm going to use the happy part, and I have cut out the word happy. Those little letters are in here too, out of black glitter cardstock, as you'll see right here. And then I think we might even end up using the day stamp and maybe some of the balloons. We're going to see. Chelsey used, in hers, she used a stencil, which I happen to have, and she's got some really light elements here. And that's where I initially planned to go with this. But because I've got these really wacky kind of borders, brighter borders, I think that we're going to lose these little soft balloons. So I think I'm going to skip those, but we might tuck in one of these balloons here from the stamp set. I'm not sure. The jury's out on that. So now that we have a plan, I think this is all going to come together mighty quickly. So we're going to start with the left page, and then we'll move over to the right, and we'll get this put together really quickly. And I have my Versamat here. I'm just going to center this down. I think I have a little adhesive that's still left on here on the Versamat from the last time I used it. And there we are. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is start with the biggest piece that's going to go down on this layout. So I have that 6.5 by 12 inch piece of Calypso cardstock. So we're just going to lay that down. And talk about stash diving, I'm using some adhesive that somebody gave to me. So I'm just using up the odds and ends. Now I think I want to leave a little bit more room down at the bottom so I can add some of those extra little strips that Chelsey had. And I'm going to use the stickers and such. So I'm going to go closer to the top than I am to the bottom. So I think I'm going to go about, 2.25 inches down from the top. I think that's a really good spot to go. And I'm just using my Versamat to line it all up. Okay, so our first piece is down, and it looks pretty good along the little grid lines here too. So we'll just line up our left side with our right side when we get to it. The next thing that we need to do is to get down these little pieces of glitter cardstock. So I just have some liquid glass right here, and I'm just going to line this with just a few dots along the edge. Instead of putting the liquid glass onto these skinny little strips, I think this will just work better. So I'm just going to tack 2 of these down, one to the top of this piece of Glacier from Calypso, and then one to the bottom. We'll just make sure that's pushed down against the Calypso. And I like that pop of black. I think it's just a nice little punch that it gives the layout. So there's one, and here's a second. And I just find it's easier to use the liquid adhesive when I'm doing thin strips like this. It's just a lot less mess. And there we go. Next, I have a few things that we can work with. We'll see how this all turns out. So I have those pieces of little scrap pieces of the summer 4 Seasons paper. I also have these zip strips. So I'm going to start with this particular red piece here because I want the red plaid. I do not want the black next to the black. I think it would just be too much black to have the black glitter cardstock and then the zip strip. So let's see. Not zip strip, sticker strip, I should call it. I do think it would be fun to use these, and I have them, and I would love to get rid of these 2 pieces. So let's just go ahead and stick those down as well. So sometimes they just don't, need to be used in your workshop kit, but I hate to throw things out like that. So I always try to find a home for them. And then I have these really cool scallop borders that were just punch outs from the Cut Above kit. And they're going to mimic these lacy scalloped borders here that Chelsey has. And I think that's going to finish this layout out with a nice little look here. So I'm just going to glue those down as well. And you can tell from the layout that Chelsey did not have hers all the way to the end because she had some other stuff. Well, it doesn't look like she did. Maybe she did. But I don't think we need to have that because we're going to have some other little pieces tucked here and there. If you're concerned about that, what you can do is you can always just trim off a piece of this and move it over if you're not going to cover it. But I think we're going to end up covering this, so I'm not super worried about that. The next thing I'm going to do is just kind of dry fit this because I have our 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 photo mats, and I have the first of the photos. So I have to go with part 1 and part 2 here. So I'm just going to lay those down, and then I'm going to see. I was worried about whether or not these were going to be too big for the layout, my photo mats. So let's see. If I need to size them down, I'm going to have to size them down to have just like a 1/16 of an inch border all around. And I didn't know if that was just going to be too little. So let's see. And I can tell this adhesive is not the best adhesive to use, but just want to use that up too and get it out of my stash. So there's one. I think that that's sized correctly. I don't think that I'm going to have to trim those down to have a 1/16 of an inch border. And I'm going to actually just go ahead and adhere those down to my page. I just love the bright colors in all of this. I couldn't be happier with how bright and vibrant. And there's so many different colors in the background, as you'll see as we build, that I just really wanted to keep going with that bright happiness. I'll probably come back and embellish this. I'll probably start building the other side. I think that's our best bet. And so I'm just going to lay this right next to my Versamat so I can bring this in when I need to line everything up. So let me slide all of these little pieces right here. We'll get this one onto the Versamat. Now watch, if you're using this kit, that your diagonals run in the way that you want them. I wanted both pages to have the diagonals running from the bottom left up to the top right. If you wanted to turn this 1/4, you could have it running, you know, so that they formed a little V. It's up to you, but just make sure that whatever way you do it is the way that you want it to be. Next, we're going to bring in that calypso again. And I think that that just creates a balance when something goes completely across. It's very nice. And now I just need to do the same with the matting of the photos. So we'll start with the 2 bigger ones, and then we'll work from there. So we got our 2 bigger photos down, and now I have a piece of cardstock, and boy, I hope I did the math on this right. I have figured that it probably should be about 3 1/4 wide and 9 1/2 long. Let's see if that works. I'm going to just tack this down lightly to begin with, just in case we need to take this off. And I'm just going to look at Chelsey's. Chelsey seems to have pretty much centered it from top to bottom. Oh, I forgot to put these pieces down here. That would have been a big boo-boo. So we need to actually put down our glitter cardstock pieces first. So we've got our strips, and now it's time for our sticker. And again, throw another piece of leftover from my stash in the trash. We'll just line this up down here, right below. Okay. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put most of this down here and go just like so. Okay, now it's time to bring in that long strip right here, and it fits just perfectly up against my blue pieces. We can go ahead and mount the 3 photos here. Love that punch of color because I feel like that green picks up the little bottom of Hey Hey, and it picks up the green in the topiary here, and even the green in the tree right here. So I do like that this green is a little different than this green, which we will bring in with our punch outs and our stickers from the kit. But I just feel like we can use a few different greens. I think that'll be okay. So we're at the point now where I think we're down to just about like doing some embellishment and stuff like that. So I had one more photo here, and there's this picture frame that's #awesome, it says. And so I had one where they'd posed me with figment, and so I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this down. I just thought that this one was a little bit needed a little bit of a special frame here, and so I'm going to just put this right over Figment and I. Actually, maybe it would work better to do it this way. So this is a frame, like I said, from the kit, and I love how that turned out. We're going to definitely use this. And I'm going to bring back in our left page because Chelsey had this cute little cluster that went on down here, and we're going to do that as well. I'm just going to bring in that photo for you to see. I like how she has a few little clusters throughout this layout, so that is something that I definitely wanted to do. So I've got a little bit of height with mine now that I've got this photo frame. So instead of doing a little 3x4 landscape photo, we're going to use this down here or so. It could even go up here, honestly. I think that's kind of cute too. We're going to see how it all fits in. I have the word cool, that are the words "that's cool." Kind of like that as well. I feel like that needs to get popped up. So I'm going to put this here. I don't quite know how I want this all to fit together, so I'm just playing with spacing here. I really feel like I have way too much space here, so maybe I want to just cover that just a bit like so. I think that's going to be the arrangement, and we're going to pop this up. So let's glue this down, and I'm just going to glue this right on the bottom because I have a plan. Let me get this tape runner to work here. Okay, so I'm going to glue this down here. Let's see. How about right there? Give that a go. Right there. And then I think we need some foam tape. And this is going to go right about here. I think that's a pretty good placement. I kind of like it. And let's see what else we could do with this. We have some extra pieces here that I have not yet used. And that's okay. I love the story. And I was thinking about like, where could I use this? And I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to mount this like so. I'm going to make it a little thinner. I just want to have some color here. So I'm just going to trim this down off camera for just a moment. So here we go. Now I've got this little piece, and I am just going to glue this down to this card here. And this is going to get tucked behind this photo. That's why I decided I did not want to adhere it down all the way. It does have a bottom down here now that we did glue this particular frame to the page. I was trying to look for something that we could use as a pull tab here. So this way we could, yeah, I like that. Do you guys like that? So I'm just going to adhere this to the back here. I'm actually going to just trim off part of this because I might want to pop a blue somewhere else on the layout. I'm going to hold on to that. And then this, I'm going to tape it down really well. And I could definitely now just gently put a little bit of liquid glass on the edge here and here to create a little pocket. Just a tiny bit of liquid glass along the edge right here and right here. And that's going to allow me, when this dries, I'm going to let it dry. That's going to allow me to stick this down behind it so that this way I can slide it in and out. And I've got this little tab that I can use to put my story of the 4 Parks in 1 Day challenge. So I kind of like how that turned out, but we're just going to let that dry for a moment. And let's get back to seeing what other embellishments we have here. So we've got the 2 pages that I'm going to bring in that second page, and we're just going to feel how everything goes. So we've got like a little title down here, and I think I want to put one up here. So let's try to space out the word happy. Let me bring in those little pieces, H-A-P. There's the A, and there's the P. I also kept the negative from when I cut because I do love to line things up here. And I think I'm going to put happy here so I can put day right there. So we are not, we're not here using the balloons. Like I said, Chelsey, I love those balloons. But I think that if I do this instead, I think we'll have a nice little balance up here. So I'm just giving it some glue. So that this way when I put the letters down in here, they're going to stick. And I'm making allowances for where there's, the little cutout in the words. I know there's a name for that. I'm not sure of it exactly. But we'll just put these in like so. So the little P and stuff, I'm not putting glue in the center of the P or the A because I do not want the glue to get bumped out and into the middle there. So I just went along the edges. So let's see if I can get these down. And if I carefully lift this away, I think that one side is bigger than the other. I think that's what's going on here. The top is a little shorter than the bottom. I had it upside down. So now I've got happy all lined up, and that will allow me room right about here to stamp day if I want to. So let's see how that'll all fit. I have some other little pieces. I've got some banner pieces and such that we could definitely use, and we'll see where we're going to use those. We could put a little cluster here or there. So do we want to stamp on this layout, or do we want to just make clusters? We'll see. I'm going to bring this piece back in here so that we can just kind of feel it out. Hopefully this is starting to dry. So there we go. It fits nicely right there in its little pocket. And now we've got more of the picture. I feel like I need some more color on this side. We've got this green over here that is fabulous. And this photo's moved again. And I feel like I need a little green or some color over on this side to balance. So how would you do that? I have got these little punch outs, and I think that they might look really cute up in this corner as well. I just want to give it a little color. And I feel like this will kind of build on the little clustering that we're doing there. So we've got the green and we've got some yellow. Let's stick that in and see how we like that. I feel like that balances the color, so I will adhere those down. But now I've got some more color here other than just the blues and the reds and the black. We needed a balance of color up in this corner. So I'm happy with that. And that leaves me a couple pieces that I can use over here if I chose to. We're going to see where these all go. Maybe a couple down here would be nice. We'll see how these feel when we put these under. These are really adhered down here. So one here maybe, and one about here. I like it when one is always shorter than the other. I just feel like that's kind of fun too. And then maybe we've got a couple stickers. We've got some more pieces. Like I told you, I cut that piece off. So we could definitely use that again. And I just feel like we need something more here. And I'm just trying to find what we need and what that balance would be. These kind of remind me of books. I don't know if we're going to use these because I just don't think that I like the way that they look. I don't know. We could see. It might just be too much. And you don't have to use every little piece. I'm going to see what happens if I move some stuff up in this corner as well. Some more color. So we've got this. I could definitely trim this down and put this up here if I wanted to. And we've got another little tab piece here that's quite cute. So, and then the blue, maybe a little bit of blue as well. So I'm going to play with this arrangement, and then I'll come back and show you what I've decided to do and keep. And I'm just going to embellish this up. I loved how Chelsey had she had a little cluster of the balloons here from the stenciling, and here and here and here. And I think we've kind of followed that across the layout. And I do like how that makes your eyes move. But I think what we're going to do is probably use the stars as our balloons. We'll see how that looks. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with the finished product. I am back with my fully embellished layout. I am so proud of how this kit came together, because generally when I am finished with a kit, I usually have some pieces left. I never make them the same way, but I feel like I gave this a really good shot at using all of the pieces. The only two things I have left are two very usable pieces of paper. I've got the two pieces of candy apple and then the honey butter squares, and I can certainly use those for another project. So no stickers, no punch outs. We have used them all. How using Chelsey's fabulous layout as a guide right here has helped me to rework this chaos of a layout, that's the cut above kit, and to make some semblance. I have also been able to use some things from my stash, which always makes me incredibly happy. I love being able to use up bits and pieces of paper that I have saved. And you can see the clips, so I definitely made a huge dent in those two sheets where I had just, a good portion of them left. Now I only have a little bit of each left. I have used some strips that are from, the summer paper right here and right here. We have used some stickers from Evergreen. I just really brought a whole entire bunch of different bits and pieces from different kits, and it kind of created this symphony of pieces on this layout. I think the black was definitely needed to give this a punch, and there was a lot of black elements here on the stickers and the punch outs and such that it really worked by bringing in the glitter and by reusing or using our little Stampin' Thin Cuts for something other than cards. I think that's great. I love finding ways to use our products again and again. And this is one of the sets that I think is going to be forever in my stash because I just love the happy and the birthday. I mean, how many times you could use this, but to use it on a layout about something that makes you happy is a great way to use it. Now, I have also gone ahead and, like I said, we used all of the pieces. So I have dotted all of these stars, each and every little star, and I made sure to keep them in odd numbers. So I've got 5 down here, 3 up here, and 3 over here. And I just feel like we have 3 really good clusters going on here. Here is 1, here's 2, and then here is 3. And I love that when we create balance across 2-page layouts like Chelsey was talking about, I love having those rules of 3, and I love having things that move your eyes across the page. I just think that that really helps with how our eye perceives your the layout that you've created. So I couldn't be happier, and I thank Chelsey for reaching that monumental level, 10,000 subscribers. Congratulations, girl. I'm so proud of you. And thank you for giving me the inspiration to quickly put this layout together. Thanks for watching. Congratulations again, Chelsey. We're all so proud of you.